right, Pot of Gold, welcome back. A little, I wouldn't say emergency edition, but an unplanned LSU podcast. Little spring game this week. Moving day at the Masters. Wasn't doing anything. I knew Mike wasn't doing anything. I was like, hey, you want to just like do a pod? And here we are. Grant the intern, as always, on vacation at a wedding, doing something. Probably going to tune into the live chat. How we feeling, Mike?
Beautiful Saturday. Didn't get off the couch the entire day.
What a day! What a
obviously
day.
Started off with a LSU spring game, which is great. We had a beautiful moving day, like you mentioned, for the Masters, and then we wrap it up with a typical SEC baseball loss, and finish off with a pod. So yeah, dude, couldn't feel better.
Yeah, nice weather. I'm assuming in Florida you're getting some of that nice weather after the rough weather.
Yeah, no, I was out of town for the rough weather here. But yeah, it was rocking and rolling just like Louisiana had it. And for everybody, you know, I'm sure we have not we haven't been on here since I lost my mind and started tweeting about losing my job and stuff, right? Have we not?
We have not.
Okay.
We have not.
I figured we haven't. So yeah,
Mike just keeps getting fired.
yeah, pretty much. I think this is the first pod we've had, like we talked about, since I lost it all. But no, we're back to good faith, right? We're in a good spot
We're
again.
in a good headspace. Yeah,
we're in a good headspace. That's why we're back. You know, everybody was tweeting, "Oh, great, and more time for podcasting." But you know, it wasn't the best time to hop in front of a camera and chat about Jay Johnson and the boys. So
one day, the TV show that we write, we will like replace Curb with just all the stories of you buying a truck and getting fired 3 hours later. Like there's just too many. There's just too many of them that I think the world will need to hear one day. We're gonna take over Netflix.
It's been a fun 2 years of traveling and working for different companies. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. But big news coming up. Your boy is going to be in the Northeast, so we're going to be doing some travels back up to the Northeast. So
remember when we thought we were going to go play Bethpage and we had to settle for Pinehurst? I'm down to do that again.
We'll do it again. We're right
out.
Back into that type of environment. So it'll be fun. But no, a lot has transpired since we last podcasted. So listen, it's an April showers show. It is mid-April here. A lot's been going on. What better day though to catch up with the LSU spring game and, you know, round 3 of the Masters concluding just an hour or two ago. So what do you want to do? You want to dig into a little spring game talk before we kind of go off? I feel like we're going to talk a lot about the Masters. So I feel like
we accidentally did like 30 minutes of a Masters segment before we hit go live.
We're going to war pretty much. So that's another thing we can discuss.
I mean, Bitcoin's just dying.
Everybody's getting fired. So
Omega candles in the wrong way. It's a tough scene. I think spring game, obviously there's going to be a lot of people who only come to us for our award-winning football takes and not all the other dumb shit. So I definitely think spring game should kick us off.
Well, it was the 88th annual Masters and the 100th annual spring game.
Look at that.
I
the field looks sick.
Something like that. But yeah, the field looked incredible, honoring
kind of disgusting to just like be like, hey, we're gonna have this incredibly like sweet field and just slap some Tony Sacheries on it also. It's like, do we need money that bad?
No, dude. The Tonys. Can we at least have like a purple and gold
in LLC? LPE?
Can we have a like a LSU version of Tonys? Do we have to do the green and yellow? Yeah. Like that's the problem on the red. That's the problem I have with Tonys. You already have like the Louisiana dialect, the Chacheret, right? But like let's make it purple. And I think everything would look great. I mean, the background of the baseball games, it makes my eyes hurt. Not as bad as they hurt looking at the fucking eclipse, though.
Oh, dude, the weather was so overcast here. I didn't even catch the eclipse.
I had I had my co-host.
I've been spending the last like 5 minutes trying to get on Twitter to retweet this because I don't have my phone because I use my phone as my camera and I'm like 3 margaritas deep, but we're locking in now, Mike. Like I'm locked in.
Yeah, no, dude, lock in. So I locked into the Eclipse, and I made a big mistake by not, buying the 50-cent glasses from CVS to look at this thing. Not that I'd be able to see anything other than like a crescent anyway, where we were at. But dude, just a couple glances up with the polarized glasses through the clouds, my retinas were burning for about a day and a half.
Really?
Bad
You
news
you,
bears.
you would have gone Costas on Costas, you would have been all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you're ever really going to be all right in these situations. I think it was a big, like it was a big experiment for the idiots like myself. But anyway, with all that to be said, it was exciting to be able to watch an LSU spring game. The Brian Kelly spring situation, though, now being the third one, pretty much consistent with boring, right? Just kind of like this is not the Brian Kelly spring game situation. It's not worthy of a full podcast, I guess you could say. It's gonna be one of those that's, hey, we're looking at a lot of situations, we're looking at a lot of, who made a big play, what backups kind of shined for a couple plays. It flew by, and like it felt like literally 15 minutes of actual gameplay.
Yeah, obviously, I think it started out of necessity when Brian Kelly first got here. We didn't really have enough guys to do an actual spring game, but yeah, at this point, it's one of those things that it just doesn't get me all jacked up. Is it nice to see the boys in some pads? Sure. Does it make me? I texted you guys, I don't know, 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I just like been hammering myself with Blake Baker videos. We're getting all these like 3-minute YouTube videos of like the coaches mic'd up, and I'm getting all these defensive guys, and I'm buying in. I'm starting to be like, boys, texting the boys like, I don't know that we're going to be most talented, but we're going to play with heart, and this defense is going to make a massive improvement. And then you flip on the spring game, and you're just like, are we just running back? We're just running back exactly what we did last year.
Yeah.
Sick offense and
Yeah.
just like chasing ghosts on defense.
No, I think that our how we were exposed with the big plays, you look at the same dudes though that are doing this, like Sage Ryan, and then now Jordan Gilbert not being able to stop a running back, right, for touchdowns, like safeties whiffing, two of them, right? So Caleb Jackson and Josh Williams both made plays against our safeties. All of the deep balls from Nussmeier were on blown coverages.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't get to, there was no like mossing of like, oh my God, what a dime. It's like, oh, cool, coverage bust. The dude just like walked in.
Now, what I will say though, I did feel as if PJ Woodland, I felt like Woodland, not to be mistaken with Gary, was draped all over our guys. It was good to see that. I really, really like seeing the young safeties, specifically Kylan Jackson and Deshaun McBride. I think those two guys look as if they're in another league physically. I think just mentally and experience reps wise, they need to get used to it. As bad as it was with blown coverages, there was something to be said about some of that physicality today, especially from the safeties, that looked a little bit different. I thought both of the Weeks brothers, not just Witt, but West, actually looks a little more physically improved.
Flying around a little bit. No, I agree.
Yeah.
There's definitely pros to take away from it. Obviously, I don't think we're just gonna look exactly like we did last year, but
No, but I think D tackle needs, like, we have
it
no
was
D tackles right now.
yeah, that kind of you were my I almost forgot to say this. It's like part of me wants to be like, oh my God, our O line's sick. And then I like think about it and say, hey, let's be rational here. They're probably not going up against the most like incredibly elite SEC type defensive line here. So it's like let's hold ourselves a little bit.
We are going to, I mean, it just facts of returning experience, right? The O line will be the deepest position group on the team,
Yeah.
and very talented. But yes, make no mistake, they are going against absolute scrubs right now,
Oh,
and
yeah, I wanna be
that is the
screaming.
effort.
I wanna be screaming that we actually deserve the Joe Moorhead award, like, I want to be that team that like, for so long, Wisconsin, it was like, "Oh my god, their offensive line," like, I want that to be us, and I want
Yeah,
to be, like, beating my chest about it, but it's like, I can't. I'm not. I've gotta wait, you know, at least till
yeah.
USC.
Yeah. The only bright spot, in my opinion, on the defensive line, though, came from 19, and that was Gabriel Relaford. I
Yeah.
think that was the biggest takeaway of the spring game on defense was here is a true freshman. Granted, he never went against the ones; he was
Yep.
going against the twos. But the two offensive tackles that we have out there right now are experienced guys that are pushing for playing time. Obviously, they're not going to unseat Emory Jones or Will Campbell, but you're going to see them take some reps here and there in games in preparation because next season that whole O line is being wiped out. So the
Yeah.
tackles are very important from a backup perspective. So Relaford is going against guys that have taken number one reps, very often. So he's not going against big sloppies that are his age, and he's doing well. Actually, did very well rushing the quarterback, but he also has a lot of big size to him. He is what I
He
wish we
doesn't
saw
look like a
Savion
freshman.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what Savion Jones is right now, but from a true freshman. And I
Yep.
feel like that's the type of guy we need at defensive end. You pair that with the other side with Deshaun Womack, and you find some studs in the portal at D tackle. You might be okay up front. I think it's
No.
really about our DBs. Like
Yeah.
that's where the scary. Hey, is Woodland going to be the guy that jumps over Toviano and Stamps and becomes a staple at corner? That's kind of scary to assume a true freshman is going to be your guy again there. Stamps made some plays, but boom, busted coverages. Toviano made some plays, but busted coverages. Safety, yeah, we look physical from some of the backups, but our starters, our dudes that we're relying on, whiffed on running backs for touchdowns. So more of the same as a result aspect, but how we got there in between the chains, I saw a little more fire, a little more pop, a little
Harold
more
Perkins was
aggression.
able to make
Oh,
some
Perk was
plays.
everywhere. Yeah.
You at least, like, knew he was on the field for this game. It was nice to see that, but yeah, go back to Relaford for just a minute. Like, it showed me that the dude's gonna at least be able to contribute some as a freshman, which is,
Hmm.
like, really cool to see because forever we've gotten burned on, like, thinking these guys would come in and just be studs as freshmen, and then it's like, actually, no, they're probably not ready. Like, maybe sophomore, junior, they'll actually be the guy you think they are. Relaford could come in and be, like, at least a decent contributor.
Yeah, and Gerald says, "Do y'all think some of these busted coverages are due to learning the new defense?" Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
sure.
And Kyron
Communication.
Lacey and CJ Daniels are the boys that are playing with Nuss. These guys are experienced receivers that know how to think on the fly and are very very well versed in their craft and what our
This is
offense brings.
this is gonna be a good offense. Like, is it gonna be as incredible as it was last year? I have no idea, probably not, but it's I know our offense is gonna be able to score on people, so it's like I get that they're gonna beat the defense, and it's like, hopefully it is just busted coverages, and it's like, "Hey, man, we got a lot of time to, like, get communication down and everyone to actually, like, learn this defense." Like, hopefully it is just those things that you can tidy up in the over summer or whatever we're going into here. And then when the season starts, you're actually ready to play as a team. You don't have to be great. You just gotta be fucking average, and I think we're gonna win
Yep.
most of our games. Like, do I know if Garrett Nussmeier is gonna win the Heisman after watching this game? I have no idea, but he's gonna be fine. He's gonna probably be the 3rd best quarterback we've ever had.
Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, Garrett. I think that just Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly, they know what they're doing with quarterbacks.
I enjoyed the
Um,
play calling.
Yeah, it was fine. Everything it's a more run oriented, but at the same time, it's exciting. I mean that the pass in the back of the end zone that was just out of bounds to Chris Hilton, or like
Mm,
Brian Kelly likes to call him Chris Hitton.
hitting.
Yeah, multiple times he called him that.
Oh my God,
It wasn't a
he doubled
mistake.
and tripled down. He
Yeah,
tripled down on it. He's like,
triple.
and let me say that again, Chris Hinton.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He's like, let me make it very clear what I'm saying.
Yeah, make no mistake.
Chris
I
Hinton.
didn't have a hiccup there, my friend.
Yeah, and I think he even said it with like a nice casual smile too, as if just like, yeah, I know my fucking players.
Gerald, as always, helping with the content, ripping in the chat. Is it a little fucked up that we're just like, hey man, this high school fucking senior, we're just gonna let him play live? Like,
Yeah, but
is
we
that like
also
a
threw him in there for just like 2 drives. We're just like,
no,
we
I get
waited to the very
but
end.
it's like you cannot hit a quarterback on this
Oh
roster
yeah, he'll be live.
except that one.
Yeah, we don't have any more red jerseys, pal. You're 17.
It cracked
Get
me up. Like, oh great, I guess. Like, welcome to the fucking SEC, buddy.
Yeah, he had a nice throw.
No, it's
Listen,
beautiful.
coming out of high school, anybody that's paid attention to Colin Hurley and his film and what he brings to the table, he's a very accurate passer. You know, he's one of those smaller guys in stature, but just elite ball placement. So yeah, once he develops and gets bigger and matures, and kind of gets more experience and reps and pubes, I think he'll be a guy that is certainly going to be getting some reps and pushing for playing time and competition. Especially, I mean, if you can lock in Bryce Underwood and actually get that signature, yeah, that's going to be a heck of a quarterback battle between Colin Hurley one day and Bryce Underwood. Just good problems to have, good depth to have.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like one of these dudes is probably gonna transfer, and it's like I'm okay
Yeah,
with that. It's
well,
like let
and
the competition play out.
I think a lot of people need to be prepared for some transfers too. I'm sure while we're recording this right now, there might be news, I'm sure, at some point, because it's kind of that time after a spring game. But as Josh Pate alluded to, and most of the national media, this is supposed to be an unprecedented portal spring season. And typically that happens after a lot of these spring games are wrapped up. I don't see that for LSU in a sense of, any of our guys being disgruntled in leaving. It is way more of a, hey, I'm not going to hit the field this season. I need to go where
Yeah.
grass is greener and I need to play. I think you maybe like Jackson Howard went ahead and announced that he's transferring a couple days ago, the defensive end. I think it's pretty clear now with Gabriel Relaford walking in. It's like, okay, here's a true freshman walking in. And this kid's obviously going to be having some serious playing time. There has been rumors, and this is not us breaking any news or throwing anything out there. I've read some stuff on a couple websites, and I know, Brett, you brought it up on the group meet
Are we
today.
talking about Samson? I didn't know that was a
Samson.
rumor floating around.
Yeah, there's rumors floating around about, a very talented guy, probably in the receiver room. But I think you just have to assume that with the amount of talent and depth we have on the roster in that room. You look at today, you looking at all the guys that they projected as the top 3, right? You've got Aaron Anderson, Kyron Lacey, and Chris Hinton / Hilton. But at the same time, dude, CJ Daniels looked great.
Yeah.
Four looked like a guy that he's gonna have a spot. Xavier Thomas, finally we saw a punt return. Today we saw somebody field a punt return. So that he's number 11. He's getting a lot of reps. We talked about Aaron Anderson. Kyle Parker is a guy they're raving about. And then right after all those guys is a very talented 5-star receiver from Baton Rouge and Shelton Sampson that you really didn't see a ton of with the ones, if any. You
No,
saw a lot of
none.
targets with the 2s, but they weren't really close balls by Ricky or Swan. And then they had him in there tight to the line blocking a lot of times. So is that like he was one that they were rumored. And like you mentioned, is that a precursor to like, hey, I've already said I might be leaving and then we're just going to not throw it to him, or
See,
what?
yeah, I didn't even know the rumors were flying. I just looked up and realized I was watching a lot of walk-ons and dudes. I had no idea who these guys were. And then I was like, oh shit, that's Sheldon Sampson. Like,
6, yeah.
that's not good. To have a 5-star guy being the #1 of your 3rd team
But
makes
like,
me feel like
yeah.
he's probably going to transfer. Well, I have no idea. I hadn't even been, it just kind of feels like a guy like that thought he would be starting by now.
Well,
It's just one
and
of those
I
things.
think he's one of those freshmen that's now, going into year 2 that at any other point in time in the history of football, other than this chaotic and, NIL and transfer portal situation, where he'd be a guy that like oh wow, as a redshirt sophomore, like he kind of
Terrence
waited his
Tolliver.
turn, and he's a dog. He's our number one
Yeah.
receiver. The first year he gets on the field and actually starts playing, he doesn't need to develop into it. He waits his turn. Then once he's out there, he's kind of the guy. I don't think we're afforded that type of luxury anymore in the world we live in. I mean,
Yep.
and I think Shelton Sampson is an example of that. Now, he is not, no one's announced a transfer. This is all, we're just hypothetically talking about people that could potentially leave with the crazy projected portal season coming up. I don't anticipate any of that being a tragedy to LSU when it comes from projected starters. I think,
Yeah.
especially at wide receiver, I don't know if Chris Hilton's spot is squared away. So that I mean, like that could be where CJ Daniels plugs in. Aaron Anderson, he makes the most out of what he's got going on, but has he come back 100% from that injury? There seems to be a little bit of a step that might be missing there. Is that Xavion Thomas's spot? Where's Kyle Parker? We talked about him being one of the top players coming out of camp. I don't even know if he participated today. So
Kai Preen was the boy who caught your he caught your Hurley
Colin Hurley.
touchdown. It's like, I don't know. I hear a lot about how that dude's just like a freak and he's gonna like fight for playing time. It's a good problem to have. I sent whenever I saw on Twitter the whole like Josh Pate, like this is gonna be a historic portal and all that stuff. I was like, I said in the group, I agree with this and feel like LSU is almost totally removed. It is kind of like a pulse of the nation, the program that Brian Kelly has put together in 3 years that I don't think anyone's really going to leave unless it's one of those things like, hey, man, I'm just like not going to play here for another year or two. I want to go play.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, like, yeah, sure, we're probably going to try to get a couple D-line guys, but we're not going in the portal searching for 10, 12 guys to like replace. Like the team is the team and it's built in this culture of like the guys in the building. And it's like, I really like where this is. It feels like we could, who knows, big playoff, you never know what's going to happen. But it almost gives me this like earlier Clemson vibe of like, oh, we're not really worried about them. And all of a sudden they got this powerhouse because everyone there is bought into what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
No,
know.
I
We'll
think
see.
but I think year 3, and then now with the new defense with Baker and all the boys coming back and Davis on the D line, you're going to see a change, right? You're going to see a turn for the better. I don't think this spring game is indicative of like what we're going to see in the fall. But I certainly think it's indicative of who we can count on. Well, you can count on Garrett Nussmeier. That's your starting quarterback. You can, surprisingly for me, because I'm a hater, but you can count on a Josh Williams. I think Josh Williams looks like a running back that's going to have a little more wiggle to him, a little more shake and bake than we've seen in some time from him.
Speaking of looking like a running back,
What you talking about? K-Dog?
Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks like Charles Scott, but like he can
but
fly.
like lean as fuck. Like, yeah, I mean, talk about a guy that just like you want in the backfield just for like looks alone. You're just like, holy shit, how are we gonna bring this dude down? And he's fast. Like, this sucks.
It looks like he just runs into piles and contact, but sheds like 3 guys at a time. Like he'll get like a hard 5 yards, but he'll have run through like 4 or 5 guys.
And it's like I sit there thinking about like, you brought it up, and Brian Kelly and everyone else has brought it up in the last 2, 3 weeks about how they want to be like this power run game a little bit. They want to be more physical. It's like, sure, it could be part of it is because you have a good offensive line, but I sit there and think to myself, like, we don't want to be this like badass running game because we have Josh Williams.
Right.
We're doing it because of this
Caleb
other
Jackson.
guy.
No, it's definitely, absolutely. I think the Josh Williams praise is okay. He's got a little bit of a juke to him. He's got some shake. It's nice to have that from a guy when you don't have anything else after Caleb Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Like outside of those two, there's nobody else there. That's why I'm excited about Trey Holly getting his case dropped, right? That looks like, we're going to have him coming back most likely. But Caden Durham, the true freshman at running back, that's going to be a big piece because you're going to have that because we're going to run the ball quite often next year. But what we're also going to be doing Gerald is just like, he's on pace with everything I'm saying, and everything
I
that's
know.
coming out of my.
I do want to give Nate a shout out because I don't know if this pod would be happening tonight if he didn't just insta reply to me quote tweeting something about Nick Saban being like, "Hey, how about you fucking stop tweeting and do a podcast?" It's like he does have me
We were
there.
pushed to do this. I didn't know that. I thought you just wanted to hang out, dude.
I did, and I was like, we could actually probably pod. No, I really just wanted to sit here and talk about how pissed off I am at Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and Rory McIlroy, but we can get there. We
We'll
will.
get there. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. There's a new crew of players that we need to look
It's
forward to.
Ludwig Aubert.
It's Ludwig. It's Scotty. It's
I
Max. It's Colin.
wish fucking happy birthday Uncle Brian was in the chat so he could give
It's
me
his
a little love.
birthday. You think he's doing anything but betting right now?
I would, but I would love for me to not be the one to have to bring this up. But literally, like 3 months ago, I gave him a hot tip of taking Ludwig for fucking Augusta.
Did
And
you?
I wish, yeah, I quote tweeted it in the DMs.
I didn't know if that was like from a week ago or
Oh
like
no,
from a
that was
day
like
ago.
that was like early on because he said something about like I need to bet more golf. Who should I bet? And I was like, for a dark horse at Augusta, I love Ludwig. And this was
Oh,
like
nice.
3 months ago. So I wish I didn't have to pat myself on the back. I wish Uncle Brian was here with us right now, but we're the
He
spring
might
break
pop in.
boys at the Masters, dude. If you can find tickets, we will go with you. I want to be there. But we'll get there. I think there's a little bit more LSU stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the Clydesdale of Kamari and Pimpton. This guy, he's a big cat, and I don't know if he's going to make it physically. He looks like a Bambi on skates, man. Like I'm having
every
trouble
play
envisioning him against anyone in conference.
Like I fucking watched I watched some Brock Bowers clips on Twitter today because someone was like, "How do we know if this dude's athletic?" And some dude just like posted a montage, and then I watched Pimpton, and I'm just like,
It's Taylor's
maybe we can get there. And like I get it, you're 6'8", like you're not gonna look like the most fluid dude, but yeah, it's every play. It's like, fuck, he might be out for the year. Actually, he's coming back in.
Yeah, he's a big cat, and he is definitely somebody with very talented pass catching ability. I don't know if he's our guy yet. I think you're still going to see, Mac Markway be the guy right behind Taylor, who everyone is really talking about as a staple to this offense going into fall. So, Taylor, he obviously didn't have a ton of reps in the spring game because they didn't really need to, much like Garrett Nussmeier. Those two are kind of Kyron Lacey, Mason Taylor, Garrett Nussmeier. Those three are just really the staple of your offense. I think the backup tight end position, though, they wanted to see what KP was going to be able to do if Mac Markway continues to be that stud there. Trez Green comes in as a 5-star tight end / wide receiver, basically a more athletic Kamarian Pimpton, in my opinion. I think you might see that true freshman, make a name for himself pretty early if we don't see KP start to kind of step up and mature a little bit into that frame. But nonetheless, it was exciting to kind of see him catch some of those passes. But the defense was definitely headhunting and ready to wrap him up.
Fumble.
Yeah,
he did look kind of athletic there when he picked that one up. And then I need to circle back to Sam in the chat. I understand the comment now. Spring Break Boys is JT, fucking Spieth, Fowler, and Smiley or whatever. So I bone that one.
No, the Spring Break and I think Sam. I can't get it out. The Spring Break Boys, like, dude, that's I sound like I'm eating at a KFC in Montgomery, Alabama, but. Is Sam the same Sam on Twitter that posted? I follow a Sam on Twitter. I don't know.
I don't think they're the same people, but I could be wrong. I know who you're talking about
because somebody tweeted a picture of the Spring Break Boys.
That could be. I don't think these are the same people.
They talked about Smiley having the best career right now. That's where I got that comment from.
Dumb Brain Picks. I knew that was his handle. I don't know.
It might be.
It might be definitely it.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Same in the comment where I was like, I'm driving to Augusta if Spieth's in the final group. This is the we're
That's
all on
the
the same
guy.
page here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he tweeted
Shout out
this.
to this guy. I like this guy.
He's got good accounts. That Twitter
He pisses me
picture.
off because I was like 80% last year and he wouldn't get me on his pick show. But hey, it's okay. I'm never gonna be that hot again, so we'll stay elusive.
No, but that's right. The picture of Smiley though with the spring break crew in the Bahamas or wherever the fucking Cancun, wherever they were. It's funny because he's the only one that's still at Augusta this weekend, doing his job. So
Hey, Rick made the cut. Easy.
he did. He did.
He fucking samurai'd himself so Ricky could fucking play the weekend. We will get there. I think there might be.
This is the first time Ricky's qualified since what? He had to sit out like 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, he probably hasn't played at Augusta. I mean, dude, if you're gonna make me, this is why I need Grant, but also I'm gonna find it way faster than Grant would ever be able to find this.
The thing is, I feel like Grant finds the shit, but he takes it in. He'll soak it in first.
He just fucking scrolls away, and I'm like, no. You're right there. You had it, my friend. You had it.
All right, final. While you're looking at that, final thoughts on spring game, because I feel like it's time to talk about one of the greatest events ever in the history of sports.
I'm assuming Corbello is the same fucking family from like the dude who was our kicker in like 2000. Am I
Probably.
that?
Probably.
I used to go with my dad. One of my dad's friends had season tickets, and he would always give us the tickets to like the games he didn't want to go to and couldn't sell. So we would be just, hamming it up at the UAB game. And I guess this dude's like aunt or grandma was sitting in our section, and it didn't matter if it was an extra point, if we were down by 30. As soon as Corbello trotted on the field, she'd go, "Save the day, Corbello," and be cheering for it. And just seeing that name brought back so many memories of like young, like the first LSU games I remember.
Well, we need to get some shirts. Save the day, Corbello.
Yeah, like it's very funny. It just has to be. But I had to tell that little story. Look, man, the offense is going to be sick. I hope the defense is better. I really like Blake Baker. I think he's going to have us decent enough an improvement over Nut, and I just hope we can sneak into the playoff. That's how I feel.
I am still
disappointing if we don't make the playoff. Yeah, the offense that I think we're going to have, it's a playoff team.
I am a little concerned about backup quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, dude, of course, if Nussmeier goes down, we're probably fucked. I get that.
Yeah. Well, I thought Swan might be a little better. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought he might be a little better. I also didn't really see much, from our boy, from Ricky. I thought he did decent. He's got some wheels, but I already knew that. I don't know if they were not calling stuff. I don't know. There was just something kind of lacking with the twos. Very vanilla, very basic, but that's a Kelly Spring game, man. You're not going to see anything there. What I did enjoy, though, was watching Xavier Thomas catch fucking punts. That was nice. And Aaron Anderson get his chance again. He was fielding in his practice, but he got his chance out there, and he did well.
There's nobody that wants Aaron Anderson to be a dude more than me. And what's I just completely blanked on the.
He is the son. He is the son of former LSU kicker John.
Yeah, it had to be. I mean, like, of course, but it's just like literally the first memories I have of LSU football is this old lady screaming, "Save the day, Corbello."
I remember your brother telling me that story, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is impressionable. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think.
What were you looking up?
Ricky Fowler last played in the Masters in 2020.
Yeah, so he's a bum.
I mean, yeah, I think we can transition. Hit us up on Twitter at potofgold, at goldmike, potofgold@gmail.com. I don't check that email too often. Every now and then I go find something that's pretty funny in there, and I'm like, I can't respond now. It's been like 2 months. But like, if you
need to talk to us, you need to pay attention to a live stream and just get in the comments. That's where we respond the most.
Hashtag get involved.
Get involved.
I don't even know where to start. Yeah, hit the like button. Absolutely smash that like button.
Smash the like button. Musso at the box. Yeah, man, Masters
Scotty
weekend.
Scheffler is your Masters champion.
You think it's over?
No,
I
I
mean,
don't. I
listen,
thought it was over at 3 o'clock today. I thought it was over. At 5 o'clock, it's not over.
it's not over. It's too close right now. This is going to be a great Sunday. I am very much looking forward to a great final day at the Masters. But make no mistake, always remember this tournament is won on the back nine. And I think in the beginning, we're going to see some, whatever's happening here. 9, 10, 11, 12, shit's going to start hitting the fan. And I don't know who's going to be hitting that fan. I don't know if it's going to be Scotty making eagles on 13 like he did today, or dropping down some double bogeys like he did today, or one. But is Homa going to start having birdies fall? Is Morikawa all of a sudden going to get his third fucking tournament, third major since he started? What is he, 28, 27?
Yeah. Look, there's a Nikolai Hogar out there for anyone. There is.
We have to talk about Yogard. Is it Yogard? The way they pronounce it, there's a little bit of a Y in there somewhere. But talk about shit stains. Talk about shit in his pants.
Dude, there is just first, like, this is the best Masters I've watched in a long time. Like, it is so nice to watch this course, the wind just howling 40 miles per hour, having John Rahm say they should cancel the fucking day. Like,
Gary Player going off on racism.
This is like Gary Player, Winston Churchill's being coined a racist. Just an all-time quote from a 90-something-year-old dude that gets to hit a T-ball. I don't know that there's ever been more content than what the Masters has brought this week. Like
DeChambeau carrying the cross.
I told you, he carries a cross, and it's like the 5th most ridiculous thing that's happened to him this weekend. Like, it's been such a fun. It's just been such a fun tournament to watch. It reminds me of like the old US Opens, where it was just like brutally fucking hard. But it's like, it's also just right there for all of these dudes. And that's how hard it is for everyone.
Who are you most disappointed in? I hate to cut you off, but I know you're very disappointed in JT. I mean, you're very disappointed in Spieth.
Rory. Because like deep down, it's like, look, man, Spieth had been up and down. I thought Spieth would make enough birdies to win this tournament. I just thought he would make too many double bogeys to win. Like, and he just kind of made the double bogeys and like samurai'd himself on 15 on Friday morning. Fucking not even awake yet, and he's got a 9 on the card. But like, it's whatever. Like, do I wish that Spieth was sitting there in like Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau range right now, where it's like, I've watched this dude on Sunday throw up like a 65 or 66 multiple times in my life. Like, I wish he was there, but the answer is Rory. Like, Rory's still like, quote unquote, like one of the best golfers in the world, and he just fucking gets a front row seat Thursday and Friday to watch what the real like best golfer in the world can do. And he's paired with Camilo Villegas today. Like, what a fucking joke. He should be disgusted with himself. I love Rory.
Dude, Vegas, he sat there for an hour lining up this fucking wedge shot. I forgot what hole they were on. It may have been 9. And he's just sitting there just really like judging the wind. He goes up 3 different times and he has to back off. We're going to have to pull it up after the call and take a peek at that one. And then he just fucking fats it. And it was like, Rory's got to wait there for him. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, this is not one of the best players in the world having to be in this situation at the Masters. And you said it best. It has never been more evident. Like it was so telling or eye-opening. I don't know what it was.
Same group.
There was a feeling of watching Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler together. And then at some point in that coverage, you're just like, Rory McIlroy is like a child compared to this dude. And like, he's like the little guy. Like, I was waiting for Scotty to give him like a pat on the back and be like, great putt, pal. Just kind of give him some encouragement, like he'll get there one day. It's like, it's Rory fucking McIlroy.
At one point, I think they were waiting because it was backed up. But Rory's like sitting on a fucking cooler, like sipping a water while Alpha fucking Scheffler is just standing over him. Cool, I got my reaction still on. Um,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
Did
yeah,
you know
dude,
you can
this
do
is
weird shit? Like,
oh yeah,
did
it's
this the
not.
other day. Oh, it's not going to do it. Whatever.
But like, yeah, I mean, I'm disgusted in Spieth because like this should be a Masters where Spieth is just sitting there like crafty as fuck doing what he does. JT, like the JT ejector seat going from like 5 off the lead to moving the cut line and still missing the cut line is like unbelievable. And it's just like kind of gotten blown over because of all the other shit that's happened. We got to make sure we check in on every Tiger bogey that's like ever been played, as you were
So
mentioning
sick of that.
earlier.
So sick of there's so much happening on this golf course, and all we have time to do is zone in on every bogey possible of Tiger Woods. And then we even have a ticker on across the bottom line for ESPN talking about how it's one of the worst round on a weekend for Tiger ever. It's like, great. Like, why do we need to zone in on that? Like, let the guy get his big fucking applause for making the weekend, and then just let it be. Like, we've
Yeah.
got golf to watch now.
Dude, there was a shot on 11 yesterday, and like I know we're not going to go Rory shot by shot because I could, and it pissed me off. But we watched Scotty on 11 yesterday. The wind is howling, blowing towards the water that's on the left by the green. And Scheffler just hits this like little low fucking draw that is so perfect. And it's like 20 feet right of the pin. I think he hit it on like the back fringe. And you're like, okay, that's pretty fucking good. Like considering there's a 30-mile-an-hour wind to like hit a
Yeah.
draw into that. Rory just hits the fucking sky hook and hits it in the middle of the pond. And I'm like, here it is. Like, here it fucking is. Like,
Yeah.
Rory just for some reason
Can't
does
do a
not
golf
have
shot.
literally like Scotty has every fucking shot like you can imagine, and it's so good. And Rory's like, oh, I didn't know the gust was coming. It's just like,
Yeah, it's like somebody else's
what the
fault. Like
fuck are we
something's
doing?
happening. Yeah, he's fallen off, and it's embarrassing to watch. And
Like,
I didn't think it happened this soon.
I wish him and Cam Smith were 4 under tomorrow teeing off. Like, that's what I
That
wish.
would be sick. That would be sick. Now, I asked that because there's been a lot of blowups, guys that didn't make the cut this weekend. Wyndham Clark being one of those, DJ being another one. The guy that I'm most disappointed in, though, that I thought started off hot is Victor Hovland. Like, Victor Hovland looked like a guy that was poised for a big year. And he
Dude,
starts off pretty.
yesterday was big boy fucking golf. Like,
Yeah.
you had to play so good yesterday. There was multiple top players on the planet shooting 80. Like, literally. And look, I wasn't like super disappointed in Victor because I watched his like press conference before the tournament and he was like, yeah, we're kind of out there just trying to fucking find it. And I was like, oh, that's not great. He's
Yeah.
like talking about how he's like watching swing videos and stuff or some shit like that. And I'm like, okay, well, Victor's probably not going to do anything this week. But like JT, it feels like JT should not like he was in contention, but like the player he is feels like he should have like multiple green jackets and he's just like not ever fucking close. Going
No,
double.
something happened to him recently. What was it, like 2 or 3? When he won the Players, what was that, 3 years ago?
It's been a minute now. Yeah.
And I think after that happened,
I think
and
he's won the PGA since then.
he has, and that's the only like little caveat he throws into it. But that's way more of that's an anomaly. That's the exception to the rule the past 3 years for him.
That was a weird like comeback, and everyone fell out in front of him. I don't remember.
Yeah, Mito Perez fucked up.
Yeah,
Mito Perez was like running away with that tournament, and then just like
he hit the electric ball right into the creek. Oh my god!
Yeah, and then JT just wins a fucking major, and it's like, oh, he's good again. And it's like, no, he's really not.
He got struck by lightning.
Who else was it? Was that you had? Was that the same one that Zalatoris and oh god,
yes,
Cam Young was involved in too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And they both I think hit the little bit of the ejector. I'm disappointed in Rom a little bit. Like once again, if you ask me to like compile big boy golfers who can play in like all of these super, super hard conditions, it would be Scotty, it would be Brooks, and it would be Rahm, or like the first three that come to mind. So to watch him go 73, 76 is a little like, oh man, once again, like, you know, how happy I'd be if Rahm was lurking at 4 under right now with 3 under. Like, dude, if this guy shoots 66, he could win.
Well, and I think that's why, like, listen, there's no mistake in it. Scotty Scheffler's the best player in the world, and he's proven that
Without a doubt.
every week he proves it, even if he doesn't win. And I think that's like what people start to forget is like, oh, well, he doesn't have a lot of those victories stacking up every week, though. It's like, well, no, I mean, one, he just won the players, but two, like he's always in the top tens, always finishing strong. But then these moments where he makes a couple bogeys and all of a sudden, you know, he's sitting at, you know, 3 back or whatever the case may be, and he sinks a massive, massive eagle putt, dude. Like that's some clutch shit. But the way he's striking the ball, he's never out of it. Never
Yeah.
out of it. There's never a hole where I'm thinking to myself, like, ooh, this doesn't shape up well for Scotty. It's like, no, he's going to bomb a drive 350 yards, dead center, wherever he wants, not even just the center. He'll pick out spots in the fairway and bomb it there. And then he's sniping pins. Yeah, he's got tough rollouts here or there because they're playing some extremely aggressive greens. But he's putting it well enough to get close. So yeah, Scotty is always going to be the guy. What I want is competition with him. That's what I want. I want a group of dudes. That's why I kind of am rooting for Bryson. To be honest, I thought it'd be really badass for a final pairing of Bryson DeChambeau and Scotty Scheffler. That would be polarizing and interesting. And like, I don't know. I think it would bring out good play out of Bryson too.
100%, 100%. The thought of Bryson catching a green jacket and just being at the champions dinner for eternity is just so good. Like I told you, I'm sad that Bryson decided. I wish he saved the 75 for tomorrow. Like I wish he would have been right there in the hunt because that would have been incredible. I would be remiss. I do have to give a shout out here.
Brian Harmon. What did he shoot, like an 82? 81?
He shot 34 on the front, Michael. He shot 34, 47.
It's incredible. Dude,
he's the reigning fucking Open champion. It's so funny.
There was some serious diarrhea this week.
I can't tell you how much I love it. Look, Scotty Scheffler is in the Tiger realm moving forward of like the favorite walking in, like without question. Like PTI forever when Tiger was the guy. Every major, they would just like their talking point, whatever, on the little board on the right was Tiger versus the field. We are if it's going to be wet, I think that's like Scheffler's kryptonite because I think he can't control the uncontrollable foot as much when it's a little wet, a little dewy out there, because that's like the only time I feel like he plays bad. If the weather's going to be halfway decent, it's like it's Scheffler versus the field until further notice.
If the weather's bad, though, if the weather's bad, that's when DeChambeau eats.
Yeah, I really do. And like this goes back to, I feel like the Masters that maybe last year, that it was like Scotty just like couldn't get it going that day, that it was like super sloppy. And I was like,
but it's going to be a beautiful day.
That foot. Oh no, I just mean like great. Outside of like acts of God, like I'm not taking
moving forward.
It's Scotty versus the field. Like there's just no one else that's anywhere near. I had this conversation about Morikawa like 3 years ago. I was like, Michael, his ball striking is so much better than everyone else that it's like he is the guy, and that's just been replaced with Scotty Scheffler, but better.
Yeah, no, he's been certainly the same. Like those two guys have had the same type of like emergence of, holy cow, like they are just pin seeking. They're just taking it in the fairway every stroke off the tee box, and they're sinking long putts. Now Morikawa's putting just completely tailed off, but he never has hit the ball as far as Scotty hits the ball off the tee. And then when it comes to his creativity around the greens, I think that's what is setting Scotty apart, is that short game, the chipping. Morikawa is just a pin-seeking assassin, though. Like that
Yes,
guy,
so
he's
good.
always. I mean, and that's the thing. This last round, I mean, he was all over that flag on all of those par fives and couldn't capitalize on those putts, lip outs a couple times. But those two are neck and neck right now for this tournament.
Before I scroll down this tee sheet, huge shout out to VJ Singh fucking making the cut in Hoka's.
It's beautiful.
Just
it makes me want to wear Hoka's on the course now.
oh, look at this little amateur with Tiger. They're gonna have oh my god, dude! It's gonna be the chummiest
Okay, so these are the tee
round.
times. Okay,
Yeah,
these are
the
the pairings.
chummiest round of all time happening right
Damn
here.
it! I know we're gonna have some. Well, at least we'll have time.
No, yeah, they'll be done. Like we're gonna get to.
Is he wearing the Victor Hovland Ping hat?
Oh yeah, I think he plays at Wisconsin. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is probably nice. We're gonna get the chummy like Tigers like taking the amateur under his wing, walking up
Yeah, but
18
we're gonna
as we're
be
like
missing
getting our
every
day
fucking
started.
putt.
No, because like all of this is gonna go ahead. Like this is gonna be early on in the day. We're good. I don't care. Let's get to some. I mean, might as well fucking throw Rory right in here with Jose and fucking Camilo. Like that's where we're at. Allegedly, Jason Day was asked to take his sweater off yesterday. Like,
did you like something was wrong with his pants too? They were too puffy.
oh my god, the pants are so baggy. They're so bad. I'm
Brooks,
disappointed in Brooks, another guy that's like, I just would be so happy if he was just lingering around up at the leaderboard. You don't have to be here, but just lingering.
Taylor Moore at the
We're still not
Gawa.
in. We're still in the fucking clown squad here. I gotta keep scrolling. Who's
Willie Z playing? Who's he paired with?
Lord T-Rail.
Yeah. You know who I'm going to pause real quick and I have a statement. Somebody that got under my skin really bad this weekend, irrationally. You know, when you watch something for hours at a time, you find like the littlest things get mad at.
Yes.
This Olesen cat. I don't like him at all. I don't know what it is. Like he looks like a fucking like bratty Pelican Park like boys baseball player, but with the face of like a 50-year-old, and like the way he struts around the green, he kept getting in the way of the balls, like where the camera, like, and it was just this fucking little like bullshit. I don't give a shit waddle. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of like a Brooks after he makes a badass birdie, and it's like, ooh, who cares type of thing. And he does that stupid waddle. Anyway, Olesen had a few of those. Back to business.
It's days meld together. We're a little too much tequila deep. So I don't remember if it was today or yesterday, but Olesen was literally wearing like a full button down long sleeve like golf shirt. Did you see it?
Yeah, and he wears the classic FootJoys that are too big for him. I don't know. Go back up before those guys. Cam Davis. Okay, keep going.
Cameron Young and the Tommy
Cam Young
lad.
and Tommy. Cantlay and Lucas Glover. What a fucking snoozer.
Imagine the discussions on who the featured group's gonna be. Like they didn't even like get Patrick out before they were like, no.
The bang one.
This is gonna be one that like someone posts a ridiculous number and they're like, oh my god, he's right in the mix. But then all the leaders will get to the birdie holes and then they'll like really not be involved. Like I feel like
spot on. And it's hard to and it's so hard to guess which one of them though. It's like both of them could do it. And I think it might be Tommy.
These guys like get through all these birdie holes and you're like, oh my god, he's got the lead. And it's like, does he though? Like he kind of has the lead,
right? And
then like Scotty's gonna go like 3 under through the next like 5, you know.
Cam Smith just kind of Cam Smith is not making the putts to win a major. He's in position almost every time, and he's the putter.
Yep.
But he joined the fucking Mickey Mouse Club, and this is what happens.
This will be the pairing Cam Davis and Nikolai Hogard that gets completely dropped from coverage like immediately. They're both going to be like 3 over through 5, and we will not see them again.
Yep, this will be a fun one.
Bryson Xander is an incredibly fun match. It's just like once again, man. It's like it sucks. I wish I wish all these guys were just a tiny bit closer. Like, to me, it just feels like, and we played how far back is too far back before, but it's like
No, I don't know, man. I think that
the winner's
yeah,
coming from the last 3 groups. Let's just say that.
no, that's it. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's it.
Cameron Davis, Hogarth can't
No,
win.
no.
Cam Smith, I would love. Cam Smith could be a guy that just goes and throws a fucking silly number, but
But it's
also
going to be
he's like
just too
6 shots
short.
back right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
don't think Xander can win, but like, I mean, Xander's really good. He could air quotes here
I think
win.
he would have. Yeah, I think Xander, the type of game Xander plays, where it's not that risky, he needs to be a little bit closer to win. I think he could have had a better day today. God, I miss Faldo yelling, "Get in the clubhouse and post."
As much as I fucking hate Faldo, I do like him at the Masters. Like, I kind of wish. I think Immelman's fine, whatever. But I do kind of wish we still brought old Nicky Boyd in on Master Sunday at least. Like him and Vern. Shout out to the OG Vern going out tomorrow in style.
I'm pretty sure I heard Dottie on Bryson's hole out as it was in the air. She's like, "My God, that's beautiful." It's just, I mean, these people are in heaven. You have one of the all timers though with the Scotty on 15. Yeah, that was a good find,
dude. Yeah, I'm watching back. You know, it's like when you got kids, you got to do dinner a little earlier. I wish I could have just sat there and watched the entire golf, but we kind of got to get some stuff going so we can get the kids to bed, do a podcast. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like firing through the last like hour-ish of coverage, and Scotty's over the green on 15, and he chips up. And what does the guy say? He's like, get in, Scotty, get in. And it's like this, dude. You can hear it on the Masters app too, or if you have the coverage DVR. But yeah, Scotty's behind the green on 15, hitting his like 3rd shot, and it's just. And like on the coverage, Nance is like, doing his Nance thing, and you just hear this guy, get in, Scotty, get in. And it cracked me up. It's well worth going and finding. Also, it's well worth going and watching JT completely implode to miss the cut. I've watched it like 5 times. It's so funny.
These last 6 though are extremely exciting. Bryson DeChambeau and Xander Schauffele, Max Homa, Ludwig Oberg, and Scotty Scheffler and Colin Morikawa. Those final 6, they're youthful, they're talented, and they're kind of cool, man. It's a cool young final Sunday of 2024 Masters golf, and it's exciting to watch. Obviously, our boy Scotty Scheffler, a guy that, friend of the pod, or, kind of a friend to us, in my opinion, met his dad.
Fat ass.
Fat ass. I met his fat ass sister as well. When I corrected
dude, an all-time par 3 moment. It's like, I tried to watch the part 3 this year. I'm like, and it's fine. It's cool to see some kids running around, but of course I give up. And then Twitter, it's like Scotty Scheffler's sister hits a ball, and I can't even come up with the guy's name. It's like Scotty Scheffler's sister, fat. The shot. She's quite skinny. It's just so funny.
She's quite skinny.
She's quite skinny.
No, but I mean, all those guys outside of Oberg, and I think that dude, we need to talk about him for a little bit.
He's so good.
Where'd he come from?
He's a Euro player. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to the point, like, here's a guy that's in his first major appearance.
Yeah.
He's super young. Well, actually, he's 24. Okay. So he's not.
He went to Texas Tech. Like, I knew he went somewhere in the States. I had no idea where he went, but he was like one of the top like amateur dudes.
Okay. So he's a Texas Tech kid, 6'3", 190 from Sweden. This kid is very, very good.
He gives me Morikawa vibes. Like, I've been telling you that this dude's like so good with his irons for a while, and like I knew he was really good in the Ryder Cup. Well, the Ryder Cup was like, okay, like this dude is going to be that guy who's going to be on the Euro team for like 10, 15 years here. Like, he's just very, very good.
That's right. That's where I first saw him. It was the Ryder Cup situation.
I think he was with Hovland, like the first day where they just torched everyone.
So he's from Tallahassee, Florida, went to Texas Tech. The
He's
way
not from
he
Tallahassee. Hold on, hold on. He's
no,
from
no,
like Denmark.
no, go back, go back. Look, residence. That's where he lives. That's where he lives right now. That's where he lives right now. He moved to Tallahassee. He went to Texas Tech. He's originally from Sweden.
Imagine the Ryder Cup. They're like USA minus Florida versus.
Yeah. So he's a dog. The way he throws his irons around, man, like that ball, the apex of his approach shots are so fun to watch. They get up so high. He stops them on a dime, like from so far out. They just teardrop in.
It's just really impressive too. If this would have been a really wet, rainy, like kind of tournament
Oh
with
yeah,
little
this is a
wind where
luxury
these dudes
tournament.
could have sniped, like it's like, okay, yeah, this dude, like I get it. But like for him to be in these
True.
ridiculously tough conditions to be doing this is like super, super impressive.
I mean, the fact that he's got a chance in his first major appearance, that says a
I mean,
lot.
only won in the 60s yesterday, which is, in my opinion, the hardest. It's definitely the hardest day of the Masters like I ever remember watching. And then to follow that up with a 70 today, which was the third best score on the course, tied for third. Yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
It is pretty damn good. I did throw a little wager on him, 18-1. Yesterday I put $10 just to have a sprinkle. It's a $10 sprinkle, just make a couple $100.
If you could pick who wins tomorrow, would you pick Max or you still Scotty lad?
If I had to picking Scotty to win, it's like that doesn't do you anything. So like I can't bet
Well,
on
but
that.
I know
But like
you're a big Scotty fan. It
love
would be
Scotty. I love Scotty. Yes. Okay. So who would I rather win?
yeah.
Um,
Who are you root like, you're gonna be sitting on your couch
I
by
know,
yourself
I
all
know.
day tomorrow. Like, I
I can't
personally kind of
not
root
root.
for chaos. Like, I
I
want a
can't not
playoff.
root for Scotty. There's something in me, and I try. Like I was like I
I get it.
all day today. I'll be honest. I was just like I would love to see Max Homa put on a green jacket. I think that would be awesome for golf. I think that would be cool to have like a new like up and comer just burst onto the scene, a guy that we've been kind of following as like stoolies and podcasts, and like Max Homa was kind of that COVID young guy that started to
Yeah.
kind of be cool. And for him to win a major and kind of have another guy on the PGA Tour and not on Live Golf Tour, like win a major and kind of bring that back to prominence, like I think that'd be awesome. At the same time, as I'm watching it, I'm just like, I gotta
I
ride
love
this
Scotty.
Scotty wave, like because I don't know how long this will last. And I've been on him before he was good. It was
He's your
one of
speed.
those.
I get it.
He's my speed. And so like
Get
while
it.
he's in his prime right now, which we never know when this can just go away, like I need to enjoy every moment of it, not root against it.
I'm glad you said that because, like, potentially, like, the most important 18 holes of Scotty Scheffler's life coming up, because if you
Yeah.
feel like if you blow another like, not blow, but Scotty could have won the Masters. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I guess it was last year, but it's like the scar tissue builds a little bit. Scotty, it feels sorry for bother. Oh God, we're getting bots in the chat, baby.
I don't have the chat up.
I mean, I guess what is Scotty? Scotty has 2 majors right now. Does he has the
No, he only
Masters?
has one.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So if he loses it, it's like, damn, you never know if you.
What a waste of like an insane prime run to
That's what
only
I'm
get.
saying. That's why I want to be involved in like racking up that real estate while we can. And I think he deserves it, dude. He deserves another major. Does it kind of suck? Like it's cool to have multiple jackets. Don't get me wrong. Like that's an amazing thing. I want to start seeing him spread out that hardware though.
Yeah.
I want to see like an open championship. And he's about to have this baby. And you know what happens to these guys when they have kids?
Perspective.
Like it's done. Like they
Tons of
start tanking.
perspective.
They start tanking, and then they have to like come back strong like a year or two later.
Max Homa just had a kid? No, I'm gonna be
The
like
immediate
no,
months
I get
after
it.
they suck, and then they get back to it.
I'm gonna be rooting hard for Homa. I don't like Bryson. But fuck me, will I be kind of rooting for him tomorrow to make things at minimum like super interesting. The thought of
A
it,
playoff between Scheffler and Bryson or something with Morikawa at the end, that would be great.
imagine, yeah, Bryson shoots a nice little like 66 tomorrow, and Scheffler and Cruz shoot like 70s, and you got a hot Bryson. Like,
Dude, the Masters, that's going to be a battle for those patrons. People on those hallowed grounds, Scheffler versus DeChambeau on like the final hole, they may boo DeChambeau at times because like Scotty is a chosen bird down
oh
there.
yeah. Well, but it's just like it's also so funny because you're kind of in like a Patrick Reed situation where it's like if Bryson wins this thing, so many people are just like, we're gonna have to deal with this dude for the next.
Like we
Is
are
he gonna be
dreading
the
dinner.
honorary? He's the next fucking. I can't even come up with his name now. Not Jack Nicklaus, not Watson. Gary Player. He's like the
Tom,
next.
yeah.
He's the next Gary Player for like 50 years. He's gonna be
Oh yeah.
having these single shaft irons, or these this 3D
Black
printed irons,
gloves.
doing the honorary captain in 2097 with his bionic leg. Like that's what we're signing up for if he
With
just goes
his
on a
T-ball
historic
dad
run.
uniform.
Yes, dude. Like that shit cracks me up. Where Spieth and them are like, oh my god, I can't sit next to this dude at the champions dinner, and he's just
Dude, the champions dinner is going to be like fucking protein shakes and pancakes.
and
Like
he's
so,
just in Raymond Floyd's ear, just barking at him. That like shit like that cracks me up. And so like as much as I don't like Bryson, and he would probably like have Mr. Beast on the podium with him if he won, it would be so funny. Like there's a non-zero, maybe let's call it 10% of me that will be actively rooting for that tomorrow. The
do you,
rest of it will go to Homa. I like Scotty. I would love to see Homa win.
dude, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Morikawa get his third major. Like that'd be another wild thing too. I
It
think
would be
the only
weird.
guy that I would be like, oh, this is kind of a bummer to the end of this, is I don't know. Oberg would kind of be like
Ludwig wouldn't it would be like, "Oh, cool story," but like,
cool
yeah, that's
story.
fine.
I guess you have to get all the way to Davis for me. Like Shoffley would be great. DeChambeau, Oberg, like any of those guys in the top 5 or 6, I'm fine with. After that, though, no, I'm not rooting for any of those clowns.
Yeah, like, I want chaos. I want a playoff. I want somebody to make a fucking triple when, like, everything's on the line, dunking it in the water on 12. Like, I just want that. I'd rather it not be Max. That would suck, but, like,
Can Homa? I just don't know if Homa can be clutch in the moment. I think it's one of those that he needs to like. This is where he'd make his name as like a fucking dog
I
if he
think it's
comes up.
way better that he did this, that he's not 8 under right now. I
Yeah,
think it's a better spot because, dude, like, now you just get to sleep and be like, "Hey, man, I just gotta go fucking get it tomorrow. If I lose, no one's gonna remember if I shot 75."
yeah,
Whereas
true.
if you're, like, -8 right now and you're in the final group, 1 up on Scheffler, and he just barks you down and like, pats you, does a little Rory part 2 and says,
Yeah.
"That's funny, little boy. This is how it's done." That hurts. But now I think he can just go out and say, "Hey, man, we're just gonna get after it and go try to snipe some pins. If it doesn't work, I had a great week." I think that's better.
It is pretty remarkable the consistency of Scotty Scheffler though.
It's incredible.
The fact that like we're sitting here and we're just like, oh yeah, number one going into the final day is Scotty. Like where a couple weeks ago, it's like, yeah, I'm sure Scotty will be up there. But then like once you get in that moment, you're just like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Like he's the best player and he's doing it again. Every single hole. It just seems like he's got a chance to birdie it.
Yeah. His
I don't know.
his
Should be exciting.
his short game's so good. If he's making all these like 10-foot, 8-foot par putts, like the door's probably gonna get closed.
Yeah. And he's
But if
been
he
putting
gets a
great.
little he gets a little nervy, hadn't had that mallet in like a big boy tournament.
It's
I
the
don't know.
soft touch for 4-foot putts that kind of freak him out.
And
But
like
he's been kind of drilling those.
hopefully they put 0 water on these green, like, hopefully Augusta is like, "Hey, man, we're going scorched earth here." Like, what, the course is getting shut down for months in 30 hours from now? Let's just take it to the edge and see what happens and hope we get. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And,
That's
like, what
insane.
a what a good 72 it was yesterday. Like, he's it's just it's incredible.
And
Like
he
he's
just
just got
waltzes
his sword.
around just casual, like he's never too high, never too low, just looking to see what's on tap in the clubhouse, man. Is there a Corona? Can I grab a lime? Like, I feel like if Scotty Scheffler wasn't like a big Christian guy, that dude would be an alcoholic. Like he just looks like a waltzing guy, just perusing around looking for his next drink. But I think it might be the crooked hat. I think that's what kind of has me feeling that way. Like the lankiness and the crooked hat, eventually just like with a little beer gut on that frame. But no, he's an animal. Love that guy to death. Love him to death.
Of him to death.
I just like his style, dude. Just like the classic, just like subtle colors, Nike quarter zip, khakis, and just like a little bent hat. It's just basic, and he goes and crushes it. Nothing too flashy.
Yeah, and I mean, if you saw him, you wouldn't be like, "Oh man, that's the best golfer in the world." Big Tex vibes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely,
no, I
dude.
mean,
Old Prez, fucking Portnoy was just going off on him today. Were you keeping up with any of those tweets? I know he
no,
had a
but I
big
mean,
wager on him, and then
yeah,
he's just like, "This
I mean,
fucking loser."
Dave doesn't get it. Scheffler, dude, yeah, he's just so good. It's good. That's what I'm gonna be thinking about tomorrow, though. It's like one of those things where this happened to me with Spieth, and it's like he shows up at the Masters and he's just fucking dominating. You're like, well, shit, he's gonna win another one of these. And then he kind of chokes, and you're like, I mean, guys, we're gonna be back next year, and then next year comes, not there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a wrist injury next year, and it just like all of a sudden, like, fuck, man, we're almost 10 years from like 2016, I think, was when Spieth actually won. I think 2015 was his first year in the final group. But it's
Okay.
we're getting to the point where it's just like, well, I mean, fuck, man, like Spieth's not beating all of these dudes. Like, if you ask me to bet Spieth for Scheffler, like, what am I gonna do?
You can't. You can't do that. He doesn't choke
Morikawa
right now.
getting 3 would be
Scheffler
crazy.
doesn't choke,
3 so many at like a young age, and he's just like
and he
either
hasn't done
into
shit lately.
he's literally disappeared.
That's
Just
the oddest climb. The weirdest move was Morikawa today, just
yeah.
firing 3 straight birdies like right out of the clip.
I mean, yeah, I kind of called fraud yesterday, and it was like 70. That's a good round. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, dude, we're not gonna run that
That's
back, and
it.
he did.
I thought he would be the choker of the weekend, and he
There's
is
still
sitting
time.
there
We
and
got
see.
18. We got 18. It's a long. I mean, dude, we're not getting coverage isn't coming on till like 1 o'clock. If I had to guess, like it's a long day tomorrow. These boys are going to be hanging around eating a lot of egg salad sandwiches, just waiting for their tea time.
I'm gonna be making my own. How many majors does Scotty finish with? If you had to say right now, he only has 1 right now, and I think that is the scary part about it. Is these little blips in time kind of are just that. They're blips in time. There's going to be a point where Scotty is not finishing in the top 5, top 10 every single tournament, but
I think Scotty deserves to be in that. It's crazy because he only
I think
has one.
Scotty's going to win
I
4.
I think he deserves to be in that Brooks Rory range, and so I would put it at like 4.5. I think I would bet under because I agree. I think 4, like 3.5 feels like it's probably the right line, but I think it should be a little higher than that because
Well,
5 is a
yeah,
lot. There's
yeah,
like
five
I mean
five as well.
Phil was it like Phil Brooks and Tiger like the only ones in this like generation of us like I don't know.
Yeah, no. The
Sure.
thing is, he should the last couple seasons, he probably should have had at least 2 more for
It's
sure.
crazy that Scotty has 1 right now. Like he's been the best player in the world since he just shit down Rahm's face in that Ryder Cup 2 or 3 years ago. He's been the best player in the world since then.
If he can get
2
2
this
this
year.
year, then we're looking at like 6 as an
Yeah.
all like for a career.
Then Jack Nicklaus, look out.
He's got a little Nicholas fade
Barbara.
to him. All right, boys. Well,
Yeah, I got nothing else. I'm so excited for a nice I hope it's a good finish
are
tomorrow.
you rewatching the round tonight?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I'll probably go listen to No Laying Up's podcast right now.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do the same thing. And then I got to watch the final episode of Curb.
Yeah, that's a next week problem.
All right, boys. Thanks for
All right.
listening. We'll be
Glad we
back
did
next time I get a job
it.
again.
Little emergency pod when Mike gets